never bang. All them having cars now, whichever get up. I talk my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flips me a bag, so it's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one, yeah.
Good evening, guys. Hello and welcome to episode 18 of Crossroads in Boxing, the podcast from the north that you've all been waiting for and looking for. With myself, CJ Spate, who's returned back. My main man, Eric ERF, boxing at the top. Other side, Ricky Hands of Stone, the hand man. We're all here, guys.
Yes.
We're looking forward to tonight.
We're back.
Plenty to talk about.
The Three Musketeers are back.
Before we get started, guys, we'll just shoot off to a short advertisement break for D-Rock Clothing.
I'm just going to say one thing right now, yeah? I am going to get that Chris to teach me that titty dance. It's just as simple as that. He's going to teach me that titty dance.
Oh, God. It's good to be back. And seeing as CJ's back and everyone is in the comments straight away. So we've got CJ, do your thing.
Do my thing, guys. Where are we? Let's get on these comments. Boom. Andy Spate, that's my mother. Hello, guys. Thank you for tuning in, mother. Ra, missed you too, brother. Thank you very much, mate. Pleasure to be back here. Mr. Neutral, thank you for coming on as always, mate. My favourite Northern show. Right, man. Rocky is your mum joining as well.
I wish I was Rocky, but maybe later. I don't know. I've sent her the link though, Ra. So we'll see. We'll get a mum down between Mandy and my mum.
A mum down.
God.
Showdown.
Right, boys, how are we anyway? We're back off of Fatal Fury the last 2 weekends. Last weekend being the lackluster one, but I'm still grinning from ear to ear about the Eubank Ben event, the fight. I watched Eubank's interview, his first interview since that fight today, which was brilliant, absolute, really insightful. He was really open and honest in that as well. So, yeah, a lot to talk about. Ricky?
Like you said, we had the high of the Eubank and Ben, and then we sure as shit had the come down of the fatal flop. So, yeah, hopefully this weekend we get a better show. Not the biggest card, but sometimes that's what we need. We're just like these are the little British cards that get us going and keep us going through the week. Siege?
Boys, just before I go on, I wanted to quickly say a massive thank you to everyone at iBoxingHub. I haven't been too well in myself, and everybody here from top to bottom has supported me and messaged me every single day. So massive respect to everyone. Thank you very much. Means a lot, guys. Anyway, no more mushy shit. We're not having that. We're having this. I got to see all the highlights from everything. Canelo side. It was a poor show, to be fair. I wanted it from top to bottom. There was nothing that was on edge of your seat. There was nothing that got me buzzing for it. Compared to the week before, Eubank, the Liam Smith fight, just stuff like that. That was just a fantastic card. And then to say that was the opposite is probably about right. Lackluster, really, really was. We've also got the preview tonight, haven't we, for Kakachi versus Wood. To be fair and being honest, that's not a brilliant card either. I don't. There's nothing that's really tasty on that, so I don't have much else to say.
The thing is, the difference is though sometimes this is where you get your action, is where you're not expected. You look at the card and you're like, oh well, there's a lot of names that I don't really know that much. The A-side names I know somewhat about, but the opponent's not too much. Whereas last weekend you had name after name after name after name, and fight after fight after fight after fight was just lackluster. It wasn't what we was expecting. I think as boxing fans, we were all expecting firefights, really good performances from everyone, and it felt like everyone really disappointed. I think the only person that came out with a little bit of cash out of that weekend, and I can't stand him to be quite honest with you, is Teofimo Lopez, because he actually performed pretty well. The fight wasn't great, but he did his thing. So fair play to him. But everyone else, really, it was lackluster performances. But maybe on this card where we're not expecting anything from these guys, Kakachi Wood, I'm expecting a war. I am expecting a war in that. But everything else, we might not be expecting much, but we may get good fights.
Hopefully, like you're right with the when you least expect something. I do think Kakachi will be a good fight. I think it's going to be a real suck 'em and see who's got what left in the tank and who can take who into deep waters with it. I'd be lying if I'd say this wasn't from Ra on our group chats about the how Wood hasn't been competing. His ring rust. I forgot the word then.
2 years. 2 years.
2 years. That completely left my mind. That to think he hasn't boxed Warrington since 23. That's big. Kakachi's a strong fighter as well. You know what I mean? He comes on, he's on you all night, and he will stay 12 rounds with you if he has to. If he don't put you out of there, that's shifted a lot of things in my head. It really has.
Yeah,
got a few more comments.
Agree. I agree with that one as well. Just quickly,
Yeah, go on.
I will like all the way up until like today. Even like when I was doing the league on the boxing leagues, I was like thinking, yeah, Wood's gonna fucking smoke this guy. And then Ra, mate, what have you done? Like I'm having to really reevaluate everything because I've like you said, I completely overlooked the fact that he beat Warrington nearly 2 years ago. So yeah, it's going to be a tough fight, like a really tough fight, and I'm looking forward to touch on it later. To be fair, so yeah.
Go on, sorry,
more comments. No, I was just saying exactly what you're about to say. Go on.
Mr. Neutral, Escape from NY, Nottingham will be far better. Really good card. We hope so, mate. I mean, it can't be much worse than what we watched last week. Papa CJ, reveal yourself. You don't want my dad to come live, mate. Rolly comes out well. Rolly might get the winner of Pacquiao.
Barboza. Barboza. Is it Barrios? Sorry, Barrios.
Right.
Yeah. That's one we can touch on actually. Now it's there because I know it wasn't on the slate, but I remember seeing that today and that being announced. I think it's going to be the main event, and Tim Tszyu versus Fondora 2 is going to be on the undercard. On that, Pacquiao is a legend. For some reason or another, Mauricio Sullivan feels fit to allow him to fight for a world championship after being out of the ring for 2 years. And I'm sure he had last year he had a exhibition fight in Japan and he lost.
It looked averages out, yeah.
He lost in that as well. And for me, this is why boxing gets watered down when sanctioning bodies are allowed to do this. Barrios has been inactive for however long since he fought. No, I think he's coming off a draw. I think actually, Barrios, and he's just been allowed to sit there, and then his defense is Pacquiao. For me, it's a strange one.
Don't forget. Go on, sorry, Rick.
Go on, mate. It's one like that. Like it really doesn't need to happen. Like Pacquiao, you're a legend of the sport. You've done so much for the sport in catchweight fights. But honestly, it's just time to hang the gloves up. You know, you've got a family. We've seen what we've seen. We ain't going to see that ever again. Surely to God, he doesn't need any paydays.
No.
So I feel like it comes to a point where boxers get to a certain point in their life, and it's where the board of controls have to step in and just turn around and say no. Like, no, it's enough. Mike Tyson against Jake Paul were a prime example. That should have never been commissioned. It should have just been an exhibition fight. I know it was a great payday for Tyson, and that's what he deserves to get out of the sport. But exhibitions are there for a reason. So for me, Pacquiao, I don't want. I'll probably will tune in, but I don't want to. I probably will tune in though, because I just want to see will the old boy tone it back one day.
It'll be in America, so you ain't tuning in. You're going to be in bed. You'll be watching the highlights.
I'm in bed at 8:30, mate. This is the latest I stay up.
Don't forget, Manny is 46 years old, guys, and he's had 72 fights in his career. That's not including any exhibitions that he may or may not have had. 72 fights. It's a lot of miles on the clock, and don't forget he's been down some weights. He's been up some weights. You know what I mean?
Eight division champion. Yeah,
absolutely,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely crazy, mate.
I want to quick some actually as well. Unless you're not finished, TJ.
I was just going to shoot a couple more comments, mate. We've got James K. That's my boy from over South Shields. Love you, bro, CJ. Thank you, mate. Thank you for tuning in, pal. Mr. Neutral, November. Which one are we on now? Are we on about Pacquiao?
Yeah,
maybe, mate. Might be return there.
White collar. But yeah, I just want to quickly touch on. Speaking of Pacquiao, today is the day of this on this day in 2004, Manny Pacquiao versus Juan Marquez, number 1, and I've got what a fight this was, boys! Like, and this is the Pacquiao we all want to remember. And I know this fight ended a draw. Marquez got dropped 3 times in the first round and came back and got a draw. So, I mean, honest to God, what a fight that was.
Yeah, that was
always remember
that those two names will be cemented together in boxing history anyway. They're fighting 4 times, unbelievable. Every single fight was unbelievable, action fight. And the last fight, well, unfortunately for Manny, he was put to sleep. But what a shot! And speaking of that shot, I was saying to Ricky that shot reminds me of what Inoue took on the weekend, where he was to run into a similar shot, and his powers of recovery to recover from that, take his time, take the count, and being aware of where he was at that moment. It's absolutely mind blowing, because that shot for me could have stopped anybody, could have stopped anyone.
Yeah,
I think Inoue's proven that he has got a weakness to being the monster. He has now been put down a couple of times in his career. Again, he's got back up every time and he's sealed the deal. But Inoue, to get back up and, like you say, to be ring aware, to be then back on the ball and think, right, I've got to switch things up here. He is an absolute fantastic fighter. He's one of my favourite fights to watch. That was a great fight, actually. I really enjoyed that. That was a brilliant. I don't think there's been a fight Inoue's been in, to be fair, that I haven't enjoyed.
No, he's always in action pack. Speaking of Inoue, just kicking off with that, Ring Magazine have got their new pound for pound rankings out, and they've got Usyk at number 1, Inoue at number 2, Crawford 3, Dimitri Bivol 4, Artur Beterbiev 5, Jesse Bam Rodriguez 6. Junto Nagastani 7, Canelo Alvarez 8. I can't say his first name. Taraja 9, and David Benavidez for some reason is at number 10. I do not understand for the life of me why he is at number 10. But we can go from top to bottom. Do we agree? Do we disagree on any of these rankings?
Yeah, let's go.
Go on, Ricky. You go first. We'll just go first one.
We'll just go for number 1. Yeah, I agree with Usyk.
Yeah, I don't think many can disagree with Usyk. Undisputed at cruiserweight, undisputed at heavyweight, soon to be 2-time undisputed at heavyweight. It's unbelievable what he's done in his career.
I don't think you can disagree with top three, and I won't be upset with any order of the top three. To be honest.
No.
I think they're
I'm going to
absolutely nailed on.
disappoint you.
Okay.
Go on.
I'm going to just. Well, we'll just go keep with that.
In a way, number 2, no one disagrees. Like CJ said,
No.
top 3, I think no one disagrees. I'm not disagreeing with top 3. We'll go to 4, Bivol. I don't have an issue with Bivol being there, undisputed at light heavyweight. Who would you have at number 4 instead, then, Rick?
I'd have Crawford. I won't have Crawford in top 3. Bivol.
Okay.
I don't think Crawford deserves to be there. He fights once a year.
I agree with that. I think the problem with pound for pound is it's active. It needs to be active fighters, but you've also got Usyk not fighting often either. He's not fighting often. Crawford hasn't fought often. It just depends on how you rank it. But
you got to think of the actual fights as well. Like his last, say 3 opponents, Usyk is fought like Fury twice. He's fought AJ twice. Dubois. He's coming up against Dubois again. And he's been undisputed for so long. So I think he deserves to be there. I feel like he's been active enough. But Crawford once a year, man. Don't think he deserves to be there. I think his skill set deserves to be there. I just don't think his activity does.
I think that's what they're going off. I don't think they're going off activity, because I agree with you on activity. Is you can't be fighting once a year. Other fighters are working their way up. But Bivol. I wouldn't have an issue with Bivol. Bivol as well, undisputed. For me, won both fights against Beterbiev. Undisputed. There's going to be a third fight between them, rightfully so. I have no issue with that being a third fight. Both of them being 4 and 5, not an issue with that at all.
I think the same as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I wouldn't have an issue with any of them being around. Jesse Rodriguez, fantastic fighter. What is he? 20, 21, 22, and 14 knockouts. And look at his. Estrada, Sonny Edwards, wherever. He's fighting anyone they put in front of him and everyone they put in front of him. I think he's absolutely brilliant. Again, if he mixed in between Bivol or was 4th or 5th, I would have no complaints out of
that. So we've got Junto Nakatani at 7 and Canelo Alvarez at 8.
Do you think Canelo should be higher? Personally, do you think he should be higher?
The problem, not again.
At least top 5.
Up until. No, he's not 5. I don't think he's 5. I think, like you say, Bam. The problem with the lower weights is it's how much credit you give to the fighters who they're beating. But I don't have an issue with Canelo being down there. I really don't. I think at this point in his career, also Canelo's showing that he's sliding. I don't care what anybody says. That fight showed that. He's somewhat on the decline. So him being there at 8, I don't really have an issue with it. I don't know much about Taraji at 9, to be quite honest with you. If you two don't know much about him.
I don't, mate. To be fair, I was just going down Nakatani's results just to see who he has boxed. I have seen him boxed Rodriguez Jr., that was 2 or 3 years ago. But I don't know much about him, to be honest. Taraji, neither. I don't agree with David Benavidez being on the list at all.
Who is not on that list that you would put on there? Who isn't on that list that deserves to be on that list?
That is a good question. No, it was a bit that bit. No, I'll look at that one. It depends, really. It depends.
You're looking at accolades, really, because this is what the list is at. Is accolades moving up in division, or how well you've done in dominated your division, really. You've got no 135 pounders in there. You've got no 140 fighters in there. And you have no welterweight fighters in there.
And if again, that's your weights, and obviously as a rule, armchair fans, you're looking for your heavyweights, your cruiserweights, and stuff like that. And if you're talking about dominating your division, surely Jai Patai's got to be in there, because I mean he's smoking everybody.
That's the name. He's also a ring. Holds a Ring Magazine belt. So he's the lineal champion in his division. I think as much as we've got some comments here. We've got Ra with Zerdo Ramirez, Jack. Which Jack?
Badu Jack.
Not Badu Jack. Come on, Ra. Not Badu.
Shakur. This is the thing. Like, you've got so many multi-division champions who's held lineal belts as well. You have the likes of Jai, like you said. You have Teofimo Lopez, who's two-time lineal, two-division champion. I think he deserves to be up there instead of David Benavidez. Who else? Like Shakur, for me, deserves to be up there. He's multi-division world champion by beating people.
You could have been arguing for Ortiz to be up there, maybe. No. Or have you got to be a world champion to be on there? Am I speaking better?
I feel like you need to be a world champion to be up there. I feel like you need to be able to. You need to be a world champion and at least unify to be on the pound for pound. You need to be the best in that division.
Would you say Boots deserves a shout then?
I was just about to go for that. I was about to say I have two fighters that probably.
I have no issue with Boots not being on there, simply because that welterweight division, there isn't anyone in that. The Stanionis fight, I give him credit for, but barring Stanionis, he beat Karen twice, who was mandatory both times, and he beat I think who else did he beat? Avanesian. He beat David Avanesian. He beat. It's not massive names. It's not the creme de la creme of the division. Yeah. So I can understand him. He's definitely the best fighter at welterweight, but you need to do a bit more than just beating Stanionis for him to get there. David Benavidez being up there still baffles me. James K says Alvarez.
Alvarez. Canelo down at bottom with me.
Yeah, so I agree with Ra on this one. I want to mention that.
Yeah,
I agree. Like where they might not deserve to be there yet, but they will be there soon on the list. I think is Keyshawn Davis. I think he'll be good. I think Shakur Stevenson will get there. I think Boots will get there.
Espinoza, who's featherweight champion.
Espinoza is deadly. That guy, he is deadly. So there are some up and coming fighters that will get there, but at the moment I can't disagree with it. All I'd do is I'd probably just lower Crawford. It's going to be brutal. I would lower Crawford.
For me, David Benavidez would be removed. Jai Pataya deserves to be up there. Teofimo Lopez deserves to be up there, in my opinion.
I would lower Crawford just for holding Shake's hand.
I think I would. I'd drop Benavidez out and I'd put Jai Pataya in, I reckon, because.
Yeah,
I can't see him getting beat anytime soon at all.
I think that's a great shout, me. I really agree with that.
Yeah, I have no issue. I just thought we'd throw that one in there. But yeah, do you want to start with the card, Ricky? Seeing as we've got the prediction league, so we can start with the card, go through it from top to bottom.
Yeah. So the main card this week is Kakachi the Apache versus Lee Wood. It's not a massive show, but it's a good show. I don't know what your thoughts are. I don't know if you want to go with we're probably not bothered with the prelims, but I think the first main fight is Sam. And correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the comments, but Sam Noakes versus Patrick Ballard, and what looks to be like a bit of a stay active, stay ready fight. I think Sam Noakes is going to make quick work of him, if I'm honest. I don't think it's one of those that he'll go the distance. I hope not anyway, but I feel like Sam Noakes has got the better pedigree. He's got the better reputation. He's a bigger puncher. and I think he'll get the job done in pretty good fashion. If I'm honest, your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like you said, it's a stay busy fight. I expect Sam Noakes to get in there, make quick work of it, and hopefully he can be out soon. If this is the sort of opponent he's getting, I think they might have something bigger in the works for him after this fight. Ra says Noakes gone off the boil. Should be in better fights than this. I agree. That's what I mean. I expect this to be a 2-3 round job, and hopefully they've got a plan for him so he can be out as soon as possible in a big fight.
Quick shout just before we continue any further. Making his debut at the Nottingham Arena is Haris Akbar. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's from Bradford. He definitely boxed for Bradford Police, I'm sure, as an amateur. I'm sure I've watched him a few times under Mally, their coach. Brilliant fighter, done a lot in the amateurs, really cleared up, very classy fighter, very fast. He was called Hurricane Harris when he was an amateur. And he's boxing Octavian Gratti in his debut fight. I was actually in Octavian's corner a couple of months ago at Magnushaw in Rotherham when he boxed Conan, is it Conor Murphy? Ricky?
Conor Murray.
Conor Murray, the Barbarian. And he was a very, very awkward, tricky fighter. And when he came back to the corner, his English wasn't fantastic either, so we had a bit of fun in there when he was asking for water and stuff like that. But yeah, very tough fight for your debut, which says to me that we're expecting a lot for him. Because I certainly wouldn't take that from one of my fighters in first. But yeah, that was just a little shout out there to a Northern fighter who I think might do very well in the future.
Yeah. Brilliant, that, mate. Another Yorkshire fighter coming through the rankings. It'll be good to see. Next up, we'll have Owen Cooper versus Chris Congo. Now, these guys, I was watching the press conference. I'm not going to lie. It bored me a little bit. But these two guys seem to have a bit of a dislike for each other. So I think they've both been beaten by Esselman, from what I can gather. Now, they've both fought the same sort of caliber of opponent there. I don't know what to make of this fight. I feel like it's quite a close fight. Congo's aging. Owen Cooper's the younger man. I think it's an interesting spectacle. I'm struggling to pick a winner for it. I thought Chris Congo was always one of those guys where when we first saw him come on the scene, we expected probably a little bit more than what he actually ended up doing. He had a name, he had a mouth, he had a good nickname too, Slick. He had a good style, but just didn't really seem to do anything with it. Whereas Owen Cooper, I don't really know too much about him, but I think, I don't know. It's hard to pick what I'm leaning towards. I feel like Congo might be the bigger puncher in there, but I feel like Cooper might be the fancier, better boxer. I feel like the younger man could prevail on the night, if I'm honest. It's just an hard decision to make. That's why I haven't got my predictions yet.
I've gone for a Congo stoppage. I've gone for a Congo stoppage later on.
For the bigger puncher.
For what you've just said, mate, I think the everything else is against him, really. I do think it's just going to come down to he's going to slug it out, and I do think he might get that stoppage later on.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. I think Congo's a really good boxer. I think he's got a good jab when he uses it. I remember seeing the Esselman fight.
Split decision, weren't it? Split decision.
Yeah, I remember he was lazy at first in that fight, Congo. He was really lazy at first, if I remember it rightly. But I'm going with Chris Congo in this. And I think it's going to be a late stoppage because he can punch Congo, but he's got good boxing skills. And if Cooper can't get it, I don't know much about Cooper. Like I said, this card, there's a lot of fighters I don't really know much about on it. So for me, I'm going Congo late stoppage.
I'll just jump on a comment. Raz put Congo broke Marco and sent him into retirement. I was there for that one, mate. I was actually ringside for that.
He did. I remember that. And that was probably Congo's best performance as well. A really good performance. He broke Marco down and he was meant to lose that fight as well.
He was, mate.
Boxer was really pushing Marco. and Congo was meant to lose that, and that performance there was brilliant.
I was ringside, and I swear to God, the whole arena, there must have, I don't know, there must have been thousands of Albanians. It was absolutely crazy when he came out, and they were all chanting the king. Honestly, it was absolutely mental, the backing that he actually had. And I remember I was that close. I remember Miffa, Grant Smith, saying, "Why aren't you listening to me?" And Michael he wasn't even responding properly. Congo just broke him to pieces. So 100%, you're right on that one, brother.
I said I was there too. I didn't see you.
You'll have missed me, mate. I was the devilishly handsome, tall, bald guy.
You just seen the shine. You just seen the shine somewhere.
I think if Congo can produce a performance like that, I think he stops Cooper. I do like Congo, like you said, Ricky. He was hyped to be something. He had all this hype around him, and I just think it died off. Really, I don't know, inactivity or I don't know what it was, but it died down. It died down pretty quickly. What else we got? What's the next fight on that, Ricky?
We've got Ezra Taylor versus Troy Jones. This is a battle of whose O is gonna go. Now, I think Troy Jones is a former Olympian. I don't really know too much about him. Ezra Taylor's a big puncher. Big, looks long, looks awkward. I'm going to go with Taylor for this one. I think Taylor will do him. I think it'll be points. They both got similar records, though, but I feel like I'm sure Ezra Taylor, when I looked at his record, he had a bit of a better resume, but I can't remember. It might not be. It might just be near enough a 50-50 fight, but I don't know. It's another trick. I feel like it's another good fight, this one. I feel like this one could end up being a decent scrap. Nobody's going to want to lose. They're both on the climb. Yeah, I think it's going to lead to a good fight, this one. I won't be surprised if this one could potentially be one to look out for.
I think you're 100% with that one, mate. Go on, sorry, mate, you can shoot on. No,
you go on.
I've backed Taylor myself, only through I feel like he's just got that slight bit more of experience with slightly better opponents a bit earlier on in his career. But both big punchers. Ezra's 8 knockouts, and I think 12 and 6 on the side. Yeah. So you're absolutely bang on. It's a perfect fight for both lads, and I'm glad we're seeing fights like that. These are the fights that you want to see at domestic level. But for me, I don't see either of them stopping each other. I just think it's going to go the distance. I think they're going to maybe be a bit more defensive on this side, having a similar opponent facing yourself.
Yeah, I think Rico knows Ezra Taylor quite well. He's been singing his praises, saying that he will be probably the next best thing out of Britain. You know what Rico's like.
He loves it.
Yeah, I think, like you said, CJ, I think it's going to be a good fight. Surprisingly, just going through these fights now, you're realizing actually the matchups are pretty good. The names aren't there, but the matchups are pretty good when we go through them one by one. You look at the names, you look at the card, and you judge it instantly. You're like, oh well. But then when you actually look at the individual fights, they are pretty even. I think it's a good fight. I think Ezra Taylor probably wins a UD. I know he can punch. He can really punch as well. So for me, it's going to be a close fight. I think Ezra Taylor nicks it on points.
I will when I was at the start of the show. It kind of took me back to when I've been studying the card and that. Remember last week? I can't remember what show it were I think it was the last one we did where we were discussing where, back in the late noughties, Box Nations, we used to get all these small hall shows, good British dust ups, and there weren't no names, weren't no pay-per-views. It was just a good old British card with plenty of fights and good fights on there. And I feel like this has got that little bit of feel to it, and that's why I am quite looking forward to the card.
For me, with that this is what I expected from Boxer. You know, when Frank and Eddie sort of went with the Saudis and stuff like that, I was like, you know what, boxer can be that Matchroom. When Matchroom first came in, Matchroom just focused on British fighters, British level fights, and just gave you British level dust-ups, and it was brilliant. And I was hoping Boxer and Sky would do that, and it hasn't materialized that way, which is a shame. But like you said, this card, it could well produce one of those all-time British, just every fight is an exciting fight, and it's what we need in boxing right now, especially after last weekend.
It's got that Frank Warren authentic feel to it. It's got that original authentic feel of a Queensberry card, and I am enjoying it. But next up, we've got Liam Davis, who I kind of like. I think he's a good fighter, against Kurt Walker. This is for the IBF International Featherweight title. It's a 12-round fight, I believe. What are your thoughts on it? Come on, quick fire. What are your thoughts?
I think Liam Davis will beat him. I've seen Kurt Walker box once. I might be wrong. I think he beat Leon Woodstock, which was a good fight, and I didn't have him to win that, to be fair. But I just think I haven't gone for a stoppage. But I do think Liam Davis will be just too heavy-handed for him. He's just going to push him back. But yeah, that will be a good fight. That will be a good little dust up.
It's one of those where he only got he missed out on a split decision with Shabazz Masood, who's a very known fighter. He also stopped one of our own, Jason Cunningham, a couple of years ago. So it's one of those where he's been in there with some good opposition. When you look through Kurt Walker, you can't really see as much, but I definitely feel like Liam Davis has been in with a better opposition. I feel like he's got a better resume, and I feel like I 100% feel like he'll get the job done on the night. I am looking forward to that fight as well. I'm looking forward to quite a few of these fights, mate.
I
am buzzing.
For me, I remember seeing both of those fights, the Shabazz Masood fight with Liam Davis and the fight with Kurt Walker and Leon Woodstock, and I thought Leon Woodstock actually might have nicked that fight. It was a good fight, a really good fight with Kurt Walker. And I remember when the fight got made, and I was like, Liam Woodstock is still fighting, because I remember him fighting Zelfa Barrett bloody years ago. He fought Zelfa Barrett. I didn't even realize he was still fighting, but when I watched the fight, it was surprising to me. He was actually doing really well, and I thought he might have nicked that fight. Liam Davis, another really good fight with Shabazz Masood. Unlucky not to get the decision. I think a close one. I'm going with Liam Davis, and I reckon Liam Davis can probably stop him late. I think Liam Davis can stop him late.
It's not a bad shot. He's unbeaten as well, I think, Kurt Walker.
In
12 fights.
I saw a lot of flaws in him in that Leon Woodstock fight. A lot of flaws in him. And for me, at this level, Liam Woodstock shouldn't be hanging with you still.
Yeah, I mean, Rad's got a point there as well, to be fair. Kurt is good, but stayed too long in the amateurs, which could... Again, sometimes we see that with Fraser Clark, Joe Joyce, they great fighters, great amateurs, but just stayed a little bit too long. So we'll get a rude introduction to the pros about it. So yeah, it's just one of those fights where I feel Liam Davis will have the experience. He's been in the pro game a bit longer. He's been at that level a bit longer. I feel like he'll have the experience and the knowledge, ring IQ, and the power to do the job on the night. So yeah, I agree with it. I agree with that prediction. Any more on that one?
No, let's roll on, boys.
It's the main event then, boys. We have Anthony the Apache Kakachi versus Lethal Wood. Yeah. What are we going? What are we saying? Because this one, I was like, Wood's going to beat this guy. Like, I think Kakachi's the better. I feel like Kakachi is the better boxer. And I feel like Wood can be outboxed in certain times where if he can't stop you, it can be a bit doomed. Because when we were at the Warrington, I think, Eric, you were, I'm not sure, CJ, you might have been, but he was being beaten, in my opinion, by Warrington up until bang.
Ooh.
Big punch. Is a big puncher. But the issue is if he can't stop you, What will he have for Kakachi then? Because Kakachi's very smart. He uses angles. He's awkward. He's on people. I don't think he's been stopped many times, if at all. Lee Wood's been stopped twice in 3 defeats. So it's one of those. It's quite an interesting fight. And like you say, he's had injuries. He's been out for nearly 19 months, I think it is. He's had injuries, niggles. I'm interested to see what kind of Lee Wood we're going to get, because this one for me, it's make or break really for both fighters. Both fighters are like, 34, 36. They're both at like the twilight of their career. So it's a very interesting crossroads fight, really, for both fighters. Go on, give me your thoughts.
It's crazy because both of the last fight was against Josh Warrington.
Yeah.
Both the last fights was against Josh Warrington. In 2023, Lee Wood stopped him. Obviously, I was there. I think you was there as well, was you, Ricky, for that fight? Did you go to that fight?
Yeah, I went to that fight.
Yeah. And to be honest, I called that fight. I said Josh Warrington would stay in with his combinations for too long and he'll end up getting clipped by Lee Wood. And more or less that's what happened. I think Kakachi stops Wood, to be honest with you. In this fight, I love Lee Wood. I'm a massive Lee Wood fan.
I'm a big Lee Wood fan.
I'm a big Lee Wood fan. I do, but 2 years out of the ring, fighting. I know Kakachi's had a year layoff, but fighting a guy who's on a hot streak, a really good streak as well, of stopping of how he's been fighting as well. The pace of the fight. If Kakachi's ups the pace in this fight, Lee can get overwhelmed, and also Lee Wood gets hurt early. He always gets hurt early, Lee.
He's a slow starter, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a very slow starter, and I think Kakachi can, his style. I think if he can press the action early, I think he has enough power to stop Lee Wood. I'm going with Kakachi stoppage on this one. Do you want to go with comments before we carry on? CJ?
Yeah, kind of.
We've got Ra. Having seen both guys up close, Anto is huge compared to Lee Wood. Man Despair has gone for Wood win. Sorry, not sorry.
Don't blame you. If I kind of don't get that reference, I'll fall out with him.
I think some of his comments are following on from other comments. So James K saying he got chinned. I think they're talking about. Connor Hand, I also agree with Eric. Man Despair disagreeing, and James K again going with Mand. What I'm going for is I've gone for a Lee Wood win. I'm going to drop a little bit of a pipe bomb here. I think people go on about Kakachi's power too much. I think his power is slightly overrated. I think he is big for the weight. Raz nailed that. But I hope people don't read into the Joe Cordina stoppage too much, because Joe Cordina was there to be beat for me.
Yeah.
He was trained. He should have moved up before that fight. Cordina, he should have never took that fight.
Should have moved up. It was the wrong fight to take. I just think Lee Wood's, they're going to pull some out of the bag. I think they'll work to game plan. They won't be daft to know that he's coming to the back end of his career, Wood. And I just see it. I just in my head, I just see Wood taking it. I think Kakachi's power is overrated. I really do. And that's not saying he's not a big puncher, because he clearly is how he's put Cordina away. But seeing on socials, I think people are taking that too much, sticking on one fight. We all know one fight doesn't mean too much, guys. You can be the right guy on the night. You can be the wrong guy on the night. The inactivity of Wood does speak a lot. But if we're going off your last performance, obviously he caught Josh Warrington. Whether it's the last punch of the fight or the first punch of the fight, if you've got that power to put someone out, it's staying there, isn't it? And your power as an older fighter is the last attribute to go. Your speed and your reactions slow down, but your power's always there. You've always got that punch to protect someone back. That's my call, guys.
I like the disagreeing here. I think once like Kakachi, he's been undefeated since 2017, and he's on an 8-win momentum win streak, right? I think I can tell Ricky's had room service to his bed. I've not even been in the bed yet. I've only just got here. So it's one of those where my opinion on it is obviously I know it's different years and different fighters and different styles make fights. Lee Wood was being outboxed by Warrington until the stoppage, whereas Kakachi outboxed Josh Warrington. So it's one of those where if Kakachi can take Wood's punch, I feel like it could be game over. But a lot of people are saying Lee Wood's the hardest hitting pound for pound British fighter. So again, it's hard to back against somebody because you know at some point that guy is going to land. Honestly, this fight's a great fight.
This is why I'm picking Kakachi too early, because if Kakachi ends up going late and staying in there, we know what Lee Wood can do. I believe this fight ends in a stoppage. I don't think it goes 12 rounds. I generally think it's going to end in a stoppage. But I think Kakachi can get him early. I think Kakachi can get him early because Lee is a slow starter. I know CJ thinks that Kakachi's power is overrated, but Lee Wood's a slow starter and he gets dropped. But there's the other side of that coin is he does get back up, and late on in fights, if you give Lee Wood a chance, Lee Wood will take it.
He'll survive.
That's the thing.
I'm gonna go for this one. This is my first prediction for league. I'm gonna go Lee Wood 8 rounds. That's what I'm going for. I can't do it. Like I like Kakachi. I love Lee Wood, and Lee Wood knocked out an old gym buddy of mine in Reese Mould, and Reese Mould out boxing again Wood until the knockout. It's just one of the things where he gets out. He's not a great boxer, but he's just got that. He's got a power. Sometimes that's all you need. So it's a difficult one, but I'm going with Wood. I'm going to go with Wood. Okay, I've made my decision. I'm not changing my mind, Eric. I'm done. I've made it.
Limpsey says you never know in a fight. People thought stoppage with Ben and Eubank. Yeah, but different forces was in that ring that night with them two, because I don't think any of them wanted to go down in front of the fathers, to be honest with you.
No, he was fighting for heart and respect and all sorts on that fight. That is a different fight.
Was a completely different thing. I don't think getting out of that ring was in their mindset on that night.
That was Libster got you're right in what you're saying. The difference being that was like the Anthony Joshua Dylan White. Someone was leaving that ring in a stretcher. Do you know what I mean? There's different emotions going into certain fights. When there's genuine bit of nastiness or the genuine competition of someone believing they are the better man and fighting for respect and stuff. You've got all sorts of things coming in the wind. Yeah, pride. Pride is the word for that. Pride. We've got one more
pride and ego.
Just jump on that. Oh no, we're on that.
No, that was the last one. A fight that's just been announced. That was the last fight of that one. Yeah. Is there any more fights you wanted to touch on before I move on to this?
No, there's only another segment I want to touch on, but that can wait until after. So yeah, go for it.
Now George Kambosos is back against Richardson Hitchens at 140. What do you guys make of this fight? Kambosos getting another shot at a world title, coming off a win in Australia against, I don't even know who he fought, to be honest with you. But before that, for me, he'd lost 3 fights on the bounce before that. I know he got given the Maxi fight, but not in a million years did he win that fight. What do you make of this fight? What do you guys know about Richardson Hitchens?
So for me, I know you're not the biggest fan of Kambosos. Heavyweights could also a bit different though, CJ. Heavyweights with your knockouts, but as in it was the actual bitterness in the ring. No one was ever going to leave that fight on the feet. If they'd have been at flyweight, I don't think someone would have left the ring without being on a stretcher, because they was nearly fighting outside the ring. But sorry,
inside the ring.
But, I mean, in the build-up, the war actually, that's where it all went mental. George Kambosos seems to be getting chance after chance after chance. He's getting backed big somewhere. For Richardson Hitchens, I know you're a big fan of him, as he's a great fighter. He hasn't got the home name, so a lot of people, certainly over this neck of the woods, won't even be sure of who he is. He's beat Zepeda, he's beat Lemos, he's beat Paro. This fight is good for Hitchens, because if he beats Kambosos, which I do think he will, his name is then going to skyrocket. So it's good. What he's doing is he's found, well, they've obviously put him in front of him, and that's a big name. It's a household name, is Kambosos. And he's got a great name, Ferocious Kambosos. Hitchinson will stop Kambosos, I think, and then we'll see a different level to Hitchinson's career, because he's going to get showboated to the top.
I think Hitchens. Oh, go on, Ricky. Actually, go on.
I'm just going to touch on it. I agree with CJ. I think Kambosos is this is a gatekeeper name, I think, for Hitchens. I think this is the win to get a real name that's been tested. It's got a reputation to it. I think this is a big step up for Hitchens, and I think it's one that's a very winnable step up. I think it's all there to make the star on the night, and I think Hitchens is going to do that. He's going to shine, and that this is the setup for it. I do believe it's just a gatekeeper test. Yeah, I like Hitchens, so yeah, I think he'll do it big time.
Yeah, I'm the same with this. For me, like you said, it's a fight that's set up for him. Everything is set up. He's not a puncher, Hitchens. He isn't a puncher. He is a pure boxer. He will box rings around Kambosos. But for me, he needs to stick his feet into the canvas and let some shots fly in this fight. He needs to put a beating on Kambosos, because I remember when Haney fought Kambosos and beat him, Hitchens was like, oh, he got undisputed by beating Kambosos. Who is Kambosos? So for me, Hitchens' style, everything about this fight is in Hitchens' favour. And like you said, Ricky, it's probably the fight he's going to shine. For me, I expect him to make Kambosos quit or his corner to put the towel in, because I don't think Hitchens hits hard enough to stop Kambosos, like knock him out.
That's what I meant, a stoppage on his feet. I think it would just be the constant punching in the corner.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what he needs. He needs to let his shots go, let his combinations go, and really put a hurting on Kambosos to really make himself a name in boxing, because like I said, I know him, you guys know him, but a lot of people we're speaking and who will watch this may not know him, because obviously in the UK. So I just wanted to show a little bit of light on that Hitchens Kambosos is going to happen for the IBF 140 title, super lightweight. Go on, Ricky, you had something you wanted to touch on before.
So something that I want to introduce, we have spoken about it a couple of times, and now we've got the three guys back. I feel like it's a good time to do it. So next weekend we have the revenge or repeat of Dave Allen versus Johnny Fisher. Now these two guys went to war on our screens not too long back, and we kind of thought, well, I didn't score the fight, but in my heart, I had Dave Allen winning that fight. And the most gutting thing I saw, like, it was really gut wrenching, was Dave Allen, who don't really get the best end of the stick. Well, like, I've won that, Anna. I've won it. I've won that to his corner at the end of the fight, and then all of a sudden, it's Johnny Fisher's hand that gets raised. So I just kind of think, to break out these controversial victories and controversial results that we do get in boxing, us three need to start and rewatch the first Dave Allen, Johnny Fisher fight, score it for next week just before the show, and we'll announce an actual proper winner from scoring it properly.
You guys in the comments as well, if you've got time to rewatch that fight or anything like that, give us your scorecards on that as well. We'll see how it matches up with our three, where us three will individually watch the fight. We'll score it. We will not give our scorecards till the next show. So we'll know each other's scorecards the same time as you guys. And you guys can give us your scorecards in the comments. Tell us what you thought of it, of how we scored and our ability to score fights, seeing as we sit here and slate judges on a weekly
Yeah,
basis.
well, exactly. It's your turn to slate us, guys. Yeah, it's your turn to slate us.
Just
So,
jumping on
yeah,
some comments there, guys. We've got
go
Trey on to say great to see the crew back. Thank you, Trey. Obviously, without you, Trey, none of this is possible. So thank you very much, brother. I've got a lot of back and forward from my family, Jimmy and my mum. So big love to you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I was going to ask Connor. I'm glad Connor's commented. Connor and Ricky's brother, because obviously, for those who don't know, Connor's a bit of a big lad himself. I was going to ask his opinion if he thought Dave Allen won. He has put Dave Allen won fair and square. What's
Did it
just
score?
before
Score it?
from their fight next week? What is your prediction? Just on that one, we won't go into the card. We'll just go on Dave Allen and Fisher. What's your prediction?
I think Dave's got his number. I think I think Johnny's team believes that they had a bad night, and that they can try and do everything right. But at this juncture in Johnny Fisher's career, I think he's at this level with the Dave Allens and your likes. And I think they're overlooking Dave Allen again. They can say, "Oh, we overlooked him last time." They believe they can go in there and just being a little bit fitter will beat Dave Allen. Dave is very crafty, and given time to train, given a proper training camp, and hopefully he doesn't come in looking like he did the last fight. It comes in better shape. I think Dave Allen beat. I think Dave Allen beats him on points again. I thought Dave won the first fight. I was commentating on it, doing the 505 watch party, and there's some clips on there of my face when they announced that Johnny Fisher had won. I wasn't best pleased, but yeah, I think Dave Allen can get the revenge on this one. I think these two guys, whatever you have, you're going to get a good fight with these two guys because their personality is like, let's get in there and bang. But Dave might just be a little bit more smarter. Dave's been in boxing way much longer than what Johnny Fisher has, and people forget that. Dave has been through the amateur circuit. He's been through a lot in boxing, Dave. He's seen it and done it all. And I think Johnny Fisher might just be too inexperienced for Dave Allen's craftiness.
Ricky?
I agree. Like I've seen the photo. I showed you guys the photo. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Dave Allen currently is in incredible shape for this fight already, and I think he still had weeks and weeks to go at the time. He's looking really best I've ever seen him. The thing is Johnny Fisher in the first fight definitely overlooked, and they thought they were going to blast Dave Allen out. He gassed himself, he got dropped, and he rode Bambi on ice all the way through the fight, which is why, in my opinion, in my heart, watching the fight, I thought Dave Allen won that fight, which is why I'm very intrigued to score it to see how I feel. But I feel like game plans might come into this, and it just depends on Johnny Fisher. He's got his team. I feel like this time they're going to have a proper game plan in place and not look to try and bash out somebody that's got an absolute stone wall of a chin. Dave Allen, the thing is with him is he's had that opportunity, he's had that shot. It's how will he adapt to the second fight when there's different tactics in place. So for me, it's one of those where he's fundamentally good, he's solid, he's crafty, he's tricky. But what tactics will he bring to the table? Because that's something that I always kind of thought you don't lack, but you don't always see from him. But I know he's had his ups and downs and his highs and his lows. So I don't know. I want Dave Allen to beat him. He's a from Doncaster. He's the Yorkshire lad. And I really like him. I think he's a good person. He's had his battles. He's been through adversity. Johnny Fisher will come into that first fight, like you said, overestimating. He had that momentum. He had that like being overhyped, and he got found out. I'm gonna stick with our Donny boy. I'm gonna win with Dave Allen. Me, I can't back against his hometown. Come on, come on.
You know that smile. You know that smile. That smile that CJ does after you said so when he's about to disagree with you.
Yeah. All the time. Should have seen him in the gym.
Well, it wasn't as bad as that.
Should have seen him in the gym when he disagreed with me.
Dave, I think, has got to stop Fisher. I don't think he's getting a points decision. That's the problem. No. That's what we're looking at. I will say I don't think Fisher's a bad bloke. I think he's a good boxer. He has been overhyped, and that can piss a lot of people off when it comes to a bad decision. I don't think Fisher or his dad were poor in how they dealt with it. I think his dad went a bit silly a couple of months on after it, but at the time, you can't blame the fighter at that moment in time. When it's something like Josh Taylor, when he got that win over Catterall, and then he's in the ring saying, yeah, of course, I thought I won every round, I blame the fighter. But for Fisher there, that wasn't his fault. Dave Allen is an old warhorse, and he's been in there with some big names in domestic British boxing. He's been in there with people like Luis Ortiz. Nobody wanted to fight at the time. One thing I will throw into it, guys, is on a comeback performance, Dave Allen thought he won against Lenroy Thomas. Does anyone remember that for the Commonwealth a few years ago?
Yep.
And didn't get the decision. And on the return, and we all thought Dave Allen was going to win. He was not on the ball for that. And I do think Dave gets in his own head. Dave gets in his own head outside the ring. So that's one thing I am going to chuck in there is on a return, he didn't do brilliant the last time with Lenroy Thomas. I know that's going back a bit. I would hope he has kept his head in the gym. I would hope, obviously, he looks like he's in good shape, but I've also seen photos of Dave Allen looking like he's got a six-pack and then turning up in the ring looking like he's got 6 rolls. So you just go with Dave. I'm not going to make a prediction just yet. I've walked you two into that. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to hold on just for a little bit.
What? Your idea?
Let me see if this clip plays. This is a clip from when myself and Rico was doing the 505-way watch party. Let me see if this will play.
It's a good job he's got pants on, isn't it?
This was the Fisher versus Allen play.
Let's go. That guy starts screaming again.
I need glasses, bro, and that's gone very small.
It's not working properly.
I best pull back. Everyone's looking right up my nose there. Sorry, guys. That's not the best view for you.
You can see some giggling, to be fair. Look up into mine, there's like a black hole.
While Eric's trying to sort this, guys, I just wanted to say for anyone, Ricky and Ez did an interview, and they're going to be posting that, and they've done a fantastic job. Thank you, Ez, with Casey Ducey. For anyone who doesn't know, me and Ricky have personally been in the gym with Casey. There's not many fighters who work harder, no matter what level you're at. I'm talking about she's training with and alongside world champions, and you can't tell who's who. So for anybody, just Eric and Ricky, well done, lads, pulling off that interview. It's good one for the podcast to start. We're going to start rolling on with interviews, but well done, lads, and I hope everyone gets to tune into that because it's not to be missed.
And if you want to tune in, guys, on that interview, it drops tomorrow at 11 a.m. I think I set it for. So be aware, be on YouTube. I'll share it when it's out on the Crossroads page. But it is a good interview, and I hope you all thoroughly enjoy it. Great feedback as well. If you want any feedback, let me know.
It was a good interview. It was Ricky's first interview. I didn't do much. I just sat there and looked pretty, really, and let Ricky do his
every
thing.
Time. Interview cherry that.
But that is brilliant for us as a team. Starting to get interviews, more interviews with fighters. A lot more is coming. We've got a lot more planned as well. Going into gyms as well, speaking to fighters, going to shows as well. So we've got a lot of stuff coming and dropping on YouTube and on our Facebook page as well. We'll keep promoting that Facebook page. If people would share and like the Facebook page as well for us, that would be appreciative. What else? Is there anything else we wanted to touch on?
We get out of here? All I want to say, guys, is obviously thank you for tuning in, your support, and the comments as well. Listen, me, CJ, Eric, we've spoke about this all before. The comments make this show what it is, so we really appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you are enjoying what you're seeing, iBoxing was quite a big family. We have got other shows. There's Stay Weighed In, there's the Boxing Roundup, all great shows with very good fan bases and good knowledge on the sport. And if you fancy it, your capital will not be at risk, CJ, but you can join in on our boxing league. Join in.
Yep.
It's fun. It's free. There's no risk. It's just a good laugh. And if you don't know about boxing, don't worry. Just do a little bit of reading, and you'll do fine.
Is someone tickling CJ's feet or something? What's
No. I loved Ricky being like, it's fun, it's free, and it's hip and cool. Like that with the kids. It is a laugh. It is a good laugh.
Yeah, it is a bit of fun. We can have a bit of banter. There's a league table. We keep the score. Right now, it's for nothing. It's just a bit of fun. We're seeing how it goes, see how many people we can get involved, see if we can build the community on that. And once we get a decent amount of people joining on a weekly basis, we will introduce prizes for people joining, just to keep it fun and active with us. But we will be back on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Monday,
we'll be back
Monday
on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah. We'll be back next week with the recap of Wood versus Kakachi. So, I'm out. Any last words from you guys?
No. Thank you for joining in, guys. Again, just mirroring Ricky there. We don't have a show without you guys. It'd just be three tit ends sitting talking about boxing all night long, which we'd probably do anyway. So thank you for coming.
Beautiful tit ends.
Beautiful shiny nipples there.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to take it too far.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
Right, guys.
It's another band. All the mass and cars now, whichever get up. Light up my card with a sweet one place. Someone flicks me a bag by it. So, it's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one, yeah.